Programming Introduction. In this unit, you will learn the basics of programming using Scratch, a block-based programming language designed for absolute beginners. To begin, let's check out the Scratch website. Click the button below to be taken to scratch.mit.edu. Scratch account. A Scratch account is not necessary to complete this portion of the course. However, if you would like to, you can create an account on the Scratch website. This will enable you to save your work online and share it with me by a link when you turn in activities. If this sounds like something you would like to do, please ask your parent for help with this step. Access the Scratch coding editor. First, open the website scratch.mit.edu in your internet browser. Next, click on the Create link at the top left of the page. This will take you to the Scratch coding editor. Scratch coding editor layout. This is your Scratch editor. Click on each of the 4 red boxes for an explanation of what each section is for. Code section. This is the section that helps you navigate all the different code options in Scratch. If you want to move your character, the Motion section has code for that. The Sound section lets you add sound to your program. The Events section lets you input commands, and the Control section is where you do the programming. These are the 4 basic sections you'll use for this first lab, and we'll learn about the others later. Block section. This is where you'll see all of the different code block options from the code section. This example is from the Motion section and gives you all the options to make your characters move. If you click through the different code sections discussed on the last slide, you'll see the different block options. Editor section. The Editor section is where you enter your code. All you need to do to write code is drag a block from the Block section into the Editor section. This will control the characters in your program. Output section. Finally, this section is where your code is output. In the next few slides, we'll learn how to animate this cat, and when you run your code, you'll see everything happen in this box. Introduction to Scratch video.
Hello. Welcome. I'm here on the Scratch website, and right now we are going to go through and introduce you to how everything's laid out, and we're also going to do a really simple program. So let's go ahead and get started. When you go to the page, you're first going to see there will likely be a little tutorial that pops up. You're welcome to go through it, or you can just close it depending on what you're looking to do. For our purposes, I'm going to go ahead and close it. There we go. It is now closed. So let's start by looking at the page here. So we have an area over here where the blocks are, and you can see it's long and they have blocks of different colors. These different colors are codes for what different type of block they are, whether it's motion or looks or sound or events or control. You can also go to the individual sections just by clicking the correct section over here on the side. The next area we've got is the block section, which is right here in the middle. This is where you're going to be doing your actual programming. And then lastly, you've got this area over here where we see the cat. That's Scratch the cat. And that's the output. So when we run our program, we're going to see what it gives us right over here on the right side. So let's go ahead, take a minute, and make a very simple program. All right, so I'm going to come up here to the motion section. So what I want to do is I want to click with my left mouse button and drag it out here. This move 10 steps button. Now, when I click this, you'll notice that Scratch the Cat over here in the output will move over to the right a tiny bit. 10 steps. Say we want him to go further. Let's try 100 steps. When I then click the 10, change it to 100, and then click this again, you'll notice he jumps much further this time. Now, since I'm kind of playing around, he's going off the screen. All I've got to do is left click and drag him back to get him where he's supposed to be. So now we've got him being able to move. But the weird thing is that I've actually got to click the block to do it. And that's not really what we want to do. So what we need to do now is add a block before this that kind of acts as our trigger block. It kind of says, when you do this thing, go ahead and do the rest of the program. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. And once again, you can use them also over here if you know exactly what you're looking for. But I kind of like being able to look as I'm going down. Aha. In the events section, what you'll notice first of all is that there is no little place to put something on the top of it. That's because these blocks are kind of like start blocks. These are the first things that'll be done in the sequence. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this when green flag clicked block over. So now when the green flag is clicked, Scratch the Cat will move 100 steps. So we come up here to our go and click it. Ah, there we go. That's kind of what we were looking for. So we told it to go, and then Scratch the Cat moved, just like we wanted to. Cool. That's a very simple basic program. So let's go ahead and play around and add another little piece to this, just to kind of get an idea of how this works. So now I've got 2 blocks. Let's do a talking block. Let's have Scratch the Cat say hello. So when we click that green go flag, Scratch the Cat will move 100 steps and then say hello. So let's go ahead and try that out. So I'm going to click the green go flag. And there he goes. He moved over to the right 100 steps and is now saying hello. Well, that's it. That is your first simple program. So let's talk about submitting this now. So you've got this done, and we're gonna figure out how to save this. All we've got to do is come up here to File and Save to your computer. When you click that, it will go ahead and allow you to save this program. Then if you open it at another time and want to work on it some more, all you've got to do is come up here when you're on the Scratch website, File, Load from your computer. That will then allow you to open up that file that you have previously made. So hopefully that will help you get through this first part. So go ahead, make yourself a simple program. Feel free to explore and play around with some of these different blocks that you see over here, just to kind of see what they might do. All right, have fun.
5.1 activity. Say hello. Great job. Now it's time to turn in this project. When you're ready, save the program to your computer and submit it in your course for 5.1 activity. Say hello. Note, if you created an account and would like to share your project by link instead of uploading it, you can find instructions here. Sharing by link. 1. At the top of the screen is a box where you can name your project. Please change the name to Say Hello, then click the orange Share button. 2. You'll now see the project sharing page. At the bottom left is a button that says Copy Link. Click that button and a link will appear on the next page. 3. Click Copy Link and then paste that link in your course for the activity. Make Scratch the Cat dance. For this next activity, we're going to be adding on to our Say Hello project. This time, we're going to have the sprite move around more and do a dance. In order to do this, we need to use code loops, which are called repeat blocks in Scratch. Loops allow you to program something one time and have the computer do it many times. Follow along with the video on the next slide to learn how to make Scratch the Cat dance. Make Scratch the Cat dance video.
Hello. So we went through and we got our first program. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit to it, learn how to do a few more things. We're going to make our Scratch Cat move around and do a little bit of a dance, kind of move around the screen, do some turning, and learn how to do a few more things with our block-based coding. So what we're first going to do is we're going to make sure that we have our program set up kind of where we were at before. So you can either load your previous one if you had saved it, and you do that going to File, Load from your computer, or this is really short, so you can just go ahead and rebuild it by finding the appropriate blocks and dragging them out. All right, so to get started, we are going to first make our Scratch Cat go to a location on the screen. Now the issue is, after a while, when we run our program, Scratch the Cat moves, but he never goes back. And so that can be a problem. So we are going to add a block to this. We're going to go ahead and look around. And we're going to look in the motion section for this go to X and Y block. So what I want to do is go ahead and we're going to put this first. So right after the green flag is clicked, we want Scratch the Cat to go somewhere. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and drag Scratch to a location. And what you'll notice is when I move Scratch around, if you look over here, you'll see an X coordinate and a Y coordinate. And when I put him in different places, those numbers change. If I were to just go ahead and put 0 and 0 here, that would put him kind of right in the middle of the screen. So let's go ahead and use that. So at the beginning, we always want Scratch the Cat to go to 0, 0. So now, say he's over here, when I run this program, he'll just shift right back to that spot. Great. Now what we can do is we can move this back up here. And so now we're building our program down through there. Now, say we want Scratch to keep moving along. We could do that by adding a whole bunch of move blocks in a row, right? So then it would go through and do move 100 steps, say hello, move 10 steps, move 10 steps, move 10 steps. And if I ran this, you'll notice you don't get to see when he's doing that, but we could break it apart and we can make it really obvious. We could just do another say hello in here. And this is a great thing about this kind of a programming language is you can just pull them apart and redrag them. All right, so now when I click the green one again, you'll notice he'll move back to 0, 0, and then he'll move again. Actually, you won't see it because he does it so quickly. But there we go. So this is all working. This is doing our thing. But say we want to make this simpler. Rather than having to do this over and over and over again, we can use something called a loop block or a repeat block. So we're going to scroll down into the control section and you'll see this repeat block. And what we're going to do is we will put our moving and saying hello in there because that's what we want to repeat. So now when this green flag is clicked, it will go to the center and it will run through this 10 times. So let's go ahead and try it. Whoa, there he goes, right off the screen. We can either make his step size smaller, so let's do 20 maybe, and see how that does for us. There we go, we could kind of watch him slide across the screen. That's looking pretty good. All right, so now let's add another block in here. Let's give him some turning. We're gonna have him kind of go in a direction, turn, go in a direction, turn. So let's move on up in the motion section. We're gonna use the turn to the left a certain amount of degrees. And it's great because we can just drag it right over here and put it in. And we're going to switch it to 90 degrees. So now what's going to happen is when he goes forward, he's going to move forward 20 steps, say hello, he's going to turn to the left 90 degrees, which will be straight up, and then he'll move around and he'll keep repeating it. Whoa! As you can see, he just kind of spun around in space. All right, so what you'll notice now is that he's kind of all over the place though. And so we want to make sure that he's always facing in the same direction as he's doing his spin. So we are going to do a point in direction block. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to tell him to keep facing the same way. We want him to keep facing forward like this. We can see his direction currently is 90. We'll keep it that way for him. And so now you can see when he does it, he always points in that direction. Now, the issue we've got now is that he's going way too fast. So we got to slow him down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use another type of control block. We've got a wait block. We're going to put a wait block right in here. So before we have him move, we're going to have him wait 1 second. And what that'll do is it'll make it go much more slowly. We can adjust that number to be whatever we want, but in this case, 1 is looking pretty good. Now, the issue is that when he stops on his head. And we don't really want that to happen. So let's go ahead and we will change it so that he doesn't end up on his head. We can do that by changing the number of times this repeats. If we change this to 8, this should be 2 full circles around, and he should end up standing straight up. So at this point, you are welcome to play around with any blocks that you want to, kind of explore, change the values. You can change what he's saying too, just by changing it right here, or changing the degrees. There's so many things you can do. Go ahead and play around, and when you're done, you can save your file by going to File, Save to your computer, and that would be it. All right, one final thing before I let you go. When we look at this, we've got our program, but then we've got these extra blocks, and this often happens when you're doing the coding. You just kind of drag things out and then you have them sitting around. So it's often nice to clean up your coding space. So to do that, all you've got to do is click on this whole thing so that you can move it around and just drag it back over here to where the blocks are. That goes ahead and deletes everything and makes it nice and clean for you.
5.2 activity. Sprite dance. Great job! You have now learned the basics of programming with loops in Scratch. When you're ready, save the program to your computer and submit it in your course for 5.2 activity, Sprite Dance. Note: if you created an account and would like to share your project by link instead of uploading it, you can find instructions here. Sharing by link. At the top of the screen is a box where you can name your project. Please change the name to Say Hello, then click the orange Share button. You'll now see the project sharing page. At the bottom left is a button that says Copy Link. Click that button and a link will appear on the next page. 3. Click Copy Link and then paste that link in your course for the activity. 5.3 Activity: Animate a Name. For this activity, complete the official Animate a Name Scratch tutorial. You can find it on the Scratch tutorial page and searching for the Animate a Name tutorial. If you need help finding the tutorial, click here for instructions. Access Scratch tutorials. To access Scratch tutorials from the Scratch coding editor, click the tutorials link in the upper left portion of the page. Then, click on whichever tutorial you would like to view. When you're ready, save the program to your computer and submit it in your course for 5.3 activity, Animate a Name. 5.4 Activity: Make Music. For this activity, complete the official Make Music Scratch tutorial. You can find it on the Scratch tutorial page and searching for the Make Music tutorial. If you need help finding the tutorial, click here for instructions. When you're ready, save the program to your computer and submit it in your course for 5.4 activity, Make Music. 5.5 Activity: Create a Story. For this activity, complete the official Create a Story Scratch tutorial. You can find it on the Scratch tutorial page and searching for the Create a Story tutorial. If you need help finding the tutorial, click here for instructions. When you're ready, save the program to your computer and submit it in your course for 5.5 activity, Create a Story. 5.6 Activity: Make a Chase Game. For this activity, complete the official Make a Chase Game Scratch tutorial. You can find it on the Scratch tutorial page and searching for the Make a Chase Game tutorial. If you need help finding the tutorial, click here for instructions. When you're ready, save the program to your computer and submit it in your course for 5.6 activity, Make a Chase Game. 5.7 Activity: Pong Game. For this activity, complete the official Pong Game Scratch tutorial. You can find it on the Scratch tutorial page and searching for the Pong Game tutorial. If you need help finding the tutorial, click here for instructions. When you're ready, save the program to your computer and submit it in your course for 5.7 activity, Pong Game. Section 5 Project: Your Own Program. You've learned so much about programming. For this final project, you will create your own Scratch program. It can be a video game, a song, an animation, a story, or anything else you're interested in. Try to use as many of the programming concepts you've learned as you can. Take your time, do your best, and make it awesome. When you're ready, save the program to your computer and submit it in your course for Section 5 project, Your Own Program. Note: if you created an account but would like to share your project by link instead of uploading it, you can find instructions here.